Welcome back to the channel. I thought I would do a video on Bitcoin ETFs and what a Bitcoin ETF essentially is, the benefits of it and potential disadvantages as well. So I'll go ahead and explain why a Bitcoin ETF is so appealing to many and why crypto investors feel that it's a bullish thing that's coming. So what is an ETF? First of all, what ETF stands for is exchange traded funds. So essentially you are putting your money into a pool of different sort of assets. So you could hold so many different stocks at one time, putting your money into a pool of pre-selected assets. And why people feel this is a good thing and why they invest is because they are diversifying their money into many different stocks, many different, in different industries. So you could be having technology industry, so for example, Apple stocks or Facebook, and then you could be having the automobile industry as well, or food, things like that. And these can be pooled into one fund. So you're getting the best of both worlds, and it's good for diversification, and that's why people buy into it. So if the technology market crashes or the automobile market crashes for whatever reason, if there's a black swan event in either one, then you are backed slightly by other industries, so you're diversified, so you're not so impacted by it. So what is the difference between a spot ETF and a futures ETF? Because the Bitcoin ETF that's coming, that investment firms are trying to file for, are spot ETFs. The difference is that futures ETF is that you're not investing into Bitcoin itself, you're investing into a contract, you have a future price of Bitcoin. So you're not actually holding it, putting your money into futures ETF to acquire a certain price. But with a spot ETF with Bitcoin, you are essentially buying the asset. You are essentially buying Bitcoin, but you're not holding it. So you are holding a portion of it, but it's not in your wallet. It's sort of, you could say, centralized. And that's one of the points I'll go on to now, where I'll start talking about the advantages and disadvantages of it. So why is this bullish for crypto? The primary reason why this is bullish for crypto and people are excited about this is because you're going to get institutional investors come into this, and they are going to put so much money into this, because if crypto has become almost, quote unquote regulated with these firms, these investment firms such as Blackrock, Grayscale, Fidelity, these are almost centralized and regulated, and that puts a lot of trust into the whole crypto ecosystem, and it gives institutional investors the opportunity and the green light, you could say, to, the thumbs up to invest in crypto now. Whereas before, and right now with what we're going through with the SEC and things like that, and the whole slamming down crypto and trying to get rid of it, in a sense, it doesn't have that green light yet. One other advantage for people, say, who are not involved in crypto yet, it is very easy to get into a spot ETF as opposed to buying Bitcoin outright. So you get you're buying the convenience. So you can buy a spot ETF and you don't have to create a wallet. You don't have to go on, say, Binance. You don't have to go through the crypto centralized ways to acquire Bitcoin. There's probably around 15 to 20 steps you need to take to just hold Bitcoin. Whereas with a spot ETF, you can just buy it and that's it. It's done. Just make a phone call, just go on the internet and buy the spot ETF. That's it. You're just communicating with a third party and you're taking advantage of their service. That's why it's going to be very bullish if it gets approved, eliminating the hassle for new investors. Just to almost piggyback on that, with the hassle-free point of it, is that it allows the opportunity for these investors to get their sort of foot in the door in the crypto industry and almost gain exposure into crypto. So they may have been daunted by the whole task of acquiring crypto, so now they've got their foot in the door of it in that way. The regulated convenience of the trusted firms like BlackRock and Fidelity is a huge This will be huge for investor clients within those firms, because you're going to get so many. It's just going to be a huge deal. That's why it's so bullish. Also, tax benefits as well. You don't have to deal with capital gains tax if you can go on a tax advantaged ETF as well within those firms. So there are various advantages to that investors do look for. So now we're going to go on to disadvantages of an ETF, a Bitcoin ETF. I will say that the advantages heavily outweigh the disadvantages, which is a good thing. So one disadvantage is that ETFs usually are delayed in terms of their price. So if you go on a Bitcoin chart now and you see the price, it's live within a millisecond. Whereas these firms, sometimes these investment firms, they can delay the pricing of Bitcoin or certain assets sometimes for hours. Sometimes you have in these investment firms, you have to turn it on a setting to get hourly updates. I've had my experience with that. So they're not essentially live. However, they will probably implement their own sort of API for that on their system so they can actually see live pricing. It won't be very hard. And you could argue that it's fair or unfair. But the point is, if you are using these firms and their service, then they are going to have a commission, and that's their service. Think of it this way: if you walk into your local store and you buy loose vegetables or loose fruit, and then there's packaged fruits next to it, the packaged fruit is going to cost you more because there's more expenses behind that packaged fruit as opposed to the loose fruit. So if you buy it loose, you're holding your Bitcoin in your wallet, you're doing it yourself, whereas packaged, it is all done for you. Everything is convenience, so you're paying for that service. Another disadvantage is that it would be classed as almost centralized. This is because the firm manages it, and if they are essentially holding on to it, then it's their keys and not yours. If you're holding your Bitcoin in a non-custodial wallet, then that's completely different to buying an ETF or buying Bitcoin on an exchange outright. You are not holding onto it yourself. So there is risk involved, where if there is a black swan event and you want to get out of crypto for whatever reason, you need your money back, you won't be able to do it in time, because if the price continues to drop, for example, there will be a huge delay. Whereas if you wanted to sell your Bitcoin quickly, you would be able to, just because you have the freedom of holding it, you can get rid of it in your own terms and your own means. Whereas if these firms hold on to it, you have the risk of not seeing a penny back. That's a massive disadvantage. That's why having everything Bitcoin related in your own wallet and you own it, it's like putting it on your shelf rather than putting it's just you own it. So that's one big disadvantage there. This will be a centralized thing, but it's very bullish. I mean, these disadvantages are what we all know in the decentralized finance world. It's just worth labeling them. So lastly, will this ETF be approved? So far, at the time of this video, the SEC have delayed I think there's 7 applications for these ETFs, and they've delayed them. They can make a comprehensive decision. I think that's what they're doing. They're planning to do all at once. All these different firms are going to give the answer all at once. That's what's been asked for as well by certain firms, for them all to be approved at the exact same time. And here's a fun fact for you to end the video. For you. BlackRock, the $10 trillion asset firm, they've filed for 575 applications and only have been rejected once. So you can just see money talks, especially when it comes to the SEC and with their decision making with firms like BlackRock, who are a $10 trillion firm. So I'll just end it there. I hope this video has helped. Please let me know if it has, and subscribe to the channel if this has helped, and I'll see you on the next video.